It's Tuesday night, October 9th, and on Tuesdays, everybody knows it's time for More Paine with Michael Moore, formerly known as Thomas Paine of True Pundit. Michael, how are you?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing
Another
well.
week.
Another week, another Tuesday, More
Another
Paine.
Tuesday.
For those
More
on the
pain.
receiving end of the bombs about to be dropped by True Pundit.
Yeah.
Of course, we're less than 3 weeks away from the release of your forthcoming book, How We Dismantled the FBI in Our Pajamas. I know everyone is eagerly anticipating that. And as I review Amazon right now, I see that the Kindle version is ready to go. So when it's released on the 29th of October, people will be able to read that on Kindle or in softcover. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's good. So people can actually read it. That's
Yes.
always good.
We want people to be able to read it. And of course, Michael, this is our preview show for the upcoming 8 p.m. episode of More Paine, which of course is available only on Patreon. And I want to thank all of our generous Patreon sponsors and remind everyone that they can see More Paine by going to patreon.com/truepundit, or of course, patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. I know I had a graphic for it in here somewhere. I apologize that's not showing up, but everybody knows how to get to patreon.com/truepundit. And there's been so much happening in the news. You and I had a conversation last week when we didn't know what was going to happen with Brett Kavanaugh. And I know, just like me, you were very disappointed in how that confirmation process was being handled. What can you tell everybody about what we'll be talking about tonight at 8 o'clock on patreon.com/truepundit and patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth?
I'm going to call it like a march down to chaos. We start this week. We start dropping some things this week that are pretty big in the book. And then next week, it's just going to be all out blitz. We won't hold anything back next week. And that puts us a week out from the book release next week. So people have a good idea what's in it. If there's some cheapskates who want their money back, they can get their, their money back. And if there's people that want to buy the book, they can buy the book. So tonight we're going to just start really dropping some. Like, it's the craziest thing. Tonight what we'll talk about is a major story. You could write a book on it all by itself. The two other things I've dropped in the last couple weeks are major stories as well. The Mueller drinking was, okay, it's kind of a major story. We threw that in because it was timely, because they made a Kavanaugh drinking lecture. So we said, okay, well, we'll put this in too, because Kavanaugh, had some beers in high school, but this guy's getting liquored up down the street right now, and he's investigating the president.
Right.
So that was good. People were like, is that what your book is about? No, we explained very, very simply, that's not what the book is about. We were throwing that in, So we threw that out. We threw a 911, a 9/11 Inspector General was forced to lie for the 9/11 report. That'll be in the book. We threw that out a couple weeks ago. These are major stories on their own.
Yeah.
But I'm just throwing them out. It's like, look, we have to get this out of the way. We have to get this out of the way. There's probably like 6 or 7 major stories in this book, and then the massive story that we'll start getting into down the road, because I don't want to, it's not time yet. These little smaller things have to come out, but they're not small at all. They're actually huge. What we'll talk about tonight is massive. It's actually massive.
Right.
And so that when the book comes out, people that have been watching on Patreon will say, like, oh, yeah, okay, now I see, I just read 30 pages. I read 7,000 words on what he was talking about instead of me babbling about it for 5 minutes. So, yeah, we're going to get into it. We're going to start really peeling the onion back and taking a look at some of these crazy things that have gone on through the years with the deep state. And we might also talk about my visit today from 2 federal agents in the morning knocking on my door.
Uh-oh.
And there are no guns this time. They seem like good guys. They're younger guys. They're just beating the pavement, trying to get some answers on somebody that we wrote about, some nasty things we wrote about somebody who's very well placed in politics, and so after conferring with our lawyers, we may cooperate with them and give them some of the stuff we have without giving up any sources. Of course, we'll just give them some raw intel,
Right.
and because I think it's the right thing to do, and then we'll probably put that in the book too. And then maybe next week we'll break that story why they were here. That's another massive story that just landed in our lap today.
Wow.
So we'll probably break that story, next week as well. And that is a national story because the guy they're looking at, when federal agents show up, and I was explicit with him. I told him, look, man, if you're trying to play me, it's not going to go your way. I've been down this road. I've had a couple rodeos with you guys, and it's not going to work. So if you're here to play me or intimidate me because this guy is a well-placed guy, elected official, and they're like, no, that's not the case. I said, I can play it either way. I can work with you guys, or I can burn you guys on the internet and on True Pundit, because I have a forum now. I just go write a story and say you guys are here to harass me or intimidate me. So I can play it either way. Yeah. So I think they're good guys, and I think their intentions are good. So we'll probably talk a little bit about that too, because it's kind of funny. A very distinguishable knock. Well, we talked about the knock when you and I were in Philly. It's kind of the same knock, but not as crazy, where they're looking to break the door down. There's been some kind of party gone on out of control. And I always say that because that's the only two times that somebody knocks like that, when they're there to arrest you or when they're there at 4 a.m. saying, what the hell's the matter with you people? This party's gone on long enough. But we won't talk about that.
When you come over to my place, I hear that knock as well. So that's another occasion.
Yeah, it was knock on the door like that.
But of course, tonight we're going to be focusing on something with the Middle East and all this. I don't even know what the topic is going to be. So
I don't even tell you anything. I think
that.
These guys. We have some guys helping us out with the book. Like, when are you going to give us the book so we know how to sell it? You'll get it when you get it. You're not going to. It's not. We're not giving it to anybody until next week. Probably next Monday we'll start cutting things loose. I have some radio spots for next Monday, and then Tuesday on here we'll get into it, like really get into it. And
nice.
Then I don't know if Tuesday during the day we'll drop something. We may drop something Tuesday during the day, Wednesday during the day, Thursday during the day on True Pundit, and away we go. And it won't be. That's like the Kansas song, "Point of No Return." After that.
But it is important, Mike, to share with everybody that when they get onto patreon.com/TruePundit and patreon.com/CrowdsourceTheTruth, they're going to see more Paine on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m., and that's really where the biggest drops are going to happen initially. We've kind of catered this show to the people that are the most ardent supporters and who are interested in getting this information first. Of course, we had a great episode with Larry Klayman a couple of weeks ago where we shared all of that FOIA information from Larry's lawsuit, and we've been having members of the Crowdsource community going through there on Discord, and they've been sorting through all that information. I had Larry on last night, and he told me that they're going to be receiving the next tranche of information in terms of the emails and text message communications between boozy Robert Mueller's special counsel office and the press. They're going to be getting that November 2nd, so that's imminent.
You get to do it all over again.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I've been trying to get together with Dissenter here, and he's very busy, or she's very busy, and as am I, but we're going to get that information on the FOIA stuff pretty soon. Michael, TruePundit.com always has tons of good information. What do we know about this FBI lawyer who's linked to the owner of the limo company that crashed a limo with 20 people in it?
You can't even, if you read the story, when we wrote it, the guy who wrote it, sent it to me to take a look at it. I said, it looks fine. And basically says, we don't know what the hell's going on at this point. There's so much crazy stuff. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. You have this lady who is tied into Ford. We find out McLean. She's an FBI lawyer. And now her name is all over this limo owner was an FBI rat from Pakistan, and he worked on a mosque case where he dimed out these 4 guys who were supposed to blow up some bridges or tunnels in New York. So then her name shows up on this thing. And the trouble is that our angle is this McLean woman was vouching behind the scenes for Christine Ford that she was the Mother Teresa. But
Wow.
this FBI case, this guy, the informant who put the case together, was a wanted murderer from Pakistan on the run.
Wow.
So wait a minute, you can't represent yourself as St. Francis and Mother Teresa in one case, and then you're using an accused murderer, an international fugitive, as an informant. It's just crazy. I don't even know what to do with that story. I don't even know. It's gotten so crazy and it's gotten so bizarre. The FBI, I guess, if you had to break it down into things, the same assholes keep showing up in the same stories.
Right.
And I would throw the FBI into that. These guys have their fingers in everything, and most of the things that they have their fingers in go bad, and people die.
Right. Who was in the limo that would be of interest to the FBI?
I mean, we have to look at that. It has to, we're swamped here.
Wow.
So
yeah, I know what you mean.
Some people can check it out. We've been getting a lot of good information just from regular folks who are tackling things and doing research. I don't even know what that story is completely insane. But again, it comes back to it's the same jerks that keep showing up here and there and everywhere. And when we were doing the McCabe stories, it was always McCabe, Struck, these same jackasses were showing up in all the corrupt stories. And that now you have the same thing. This McLean, this FBI lawyer, mystery lawyer, she's showing up in this other story, and people want to say, well, it's completely unrelated. I don't see it as that. I see that it's a character situation. And that's one of the reasons that Ford kept her in the background, because if she would have brought this woman forward and you had some senators whose staff were doing their homework, they'd say, hey, weren't you involved in some case? What was your name on a case where this fugitive on the run for murder, you guys propped up? And not only that, they paid him $100,000.
Wow.
They paid him $100,000, at least $100,000. They would have been paying him $100,000 a year. I don't know what they're paying. The Daily Mail broke the story. Wow. It's a good story on the Daily Mail's part, but the Daily Mail broke the story about this limo driver being tied in with the FBI, and we knew there was a problem because they didn't release the limo driver's name right away. And I said, we got to watch this closely. And we were doing searches here with New York Corporation Commission, things like that, to get this guy's information, because I said, there's a problem with this story. If they haven't released the guy's name in 24, 36 hours, somebody's hiding something. And sure enough, they were hiding something. And then Cuomo the next day came out talking about a traffic accident. I'm like, wait a minute, why is Cuomo talking about this limo accident? I mean, yeah, 20 people died, okay. But why is Cuomo talking about it? Like, what is he covering? Whose ass is he covering? Well, he's covering the FBI's ass.
Wow.
That's the only reason Cuomo would talk about this and have a press conference and talk about it.
Yeah, I don't trust him too much, I got to tell you. And, Mike...
This case was out of the Southern District in New York, where every cancerous federal law enforcement apparatus story is coming out of, and all the graduates and alumni, they're all problematic. The place is like a cesspool in New York City. New York City, the federal apparatus is a cesspool. Not you, but the apparatus, the Southern District. Right. I'm talking about the FBI and the DOJ.
Right.
Broussard, McCabe, Comey.
Really bad. Really
they
bad.
all come from the Southern District. This guy, McCabe's lawyers. This case came out of there. It goes on and on and on. On and on and on.
We're just about 15 minutes away from tonight's episode of More Paine, which people are going to be able to watch by becoming sponsors on Patreon.com. You can sponsor either True Pundit or Crowdsource the Truth to enjoy episodes of More Paine exclusively on Patreon, 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. And you can just go to patreon.com/truepundit or patreon.com/Crowdsource the Truth and become a sponsor there. Before we switch over to Patreon, Michael, I just wanted to share with you briefly, this just came out a few hours ago from New York Magazine, talking about while Mueller stays quiet, Suspicious Trump-Russia clues keep popping up. They're using words like suspicious.
Clues? What is Colonel
Well,
Mustard in the observatory with a candlestick? I mean, what kind of clues these guys are talking? New York
Right.
Magazine, give me a break.
Right. Well, the thing that
What are
caught
they
my
saying?
eye here is that Betsy Woodruff reported earlier this summer, as Ryan Goodman, I don't know him, noted, Mueller recently added to his team Kathy Rakoczy, who's best known for her work in violent crime cases, and they come to the conclusion this supports the likelihood that Mueller is investigating Smith's death as a murder. So I've felt that Peter Smith died under very curious circumstances.
That's the
since I
helium
heard
guy,
about it.
right?
Yes, correct. And we've
The
covered
Walmart
that.
helium death?
Right. How did
Yeah,
the
that's
second
a
helium
scary-
canister get there? What are the wrenches doing there? What's the enema doing there?
I wouldn't get too carried away with New York Magazine. Their track record has gone down since the administrations have changed over.
I'm
So
not particularly interested in New York
maybe there's something
Magazine.
interest to it. I mean, maybe maybe there is some.
There's
something
been a
to it.
lot of activity around the Peter Smith story the past week, I can tell you. I can't go into
Maybe
details,
Special,
but I've been contacted, Charles has been contacted quite a bit about Peter Smith.
maybe the special counsel's team is huffing helium too. I mean,
That's
you know,
very likely. Very likely. But what we're going to do right now, Michael, is we're going to switch over to Patreon. We'll be over there in just 14 minutes. So people who are not yet sponsors of Crowdsource the Truth at patreon.com/crowdsource the truth. I hope you go there and become a sponsor. You can also enjoy episodes of more Paine by becoming a sponsor of True Pundit on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/truepundit, and we'll be back with you in just 14 minutes on patreon.com.
yeah, we have a lot of fun on these things.
We do.
And we have. I probably say a lot of things I shouldn't say. So what the hell? Let's let it rip. Who gives a flying? You know what?
Yep.
We'll
We'll see everybody
Just
there.
let it rip.
All right. See you in a few minutes, everybody. Thanks very
Yeah.
much.